up, guys, and welcome to Press A Repeatedly. Justin Thomas Hill here with Christopher Gold. Chris, what's up, my dude?
Nothing is up, my dude. Been hanging out a lot. I went and saw Frozen 2 with Elena yesterday.
I never saw Frozen. Is it as good as everybody makes it out to be?
I mean, at this point, if you go into Frozen with the expectations of everyone saying, "Oh man, this is the greatest movie, like this is one of the best Disney movies ever," you're probably going to be disappointed. There was some script changes like in the middle of production of the movie, so it
Really?
Because originally Elsa was gonna be like, because there's Elsa and Anna, they're the two princesses, they're sisters. Elsa was originally going to turn evil, like she was going to be the bad guy, but then as they were like Let It Go was going to be the villain song of Frozen.
Wow.
And as they were writing her, they were like, like it actually fits better. Like no one during production was getting a villain vibe from Elsa. They're like, she's not really like evil, like this isn't really working. So they totally like reworked everything towards the end. And they like it got a little bit messy in the middle, but ultimately I thought it worked out. Like it was fun enough movie. The songs were entertaining. So yeah, yesterday Elena and I saw Frozen 2, and no spoilers, but my personal review of the movie is I thought the music, the songs and all that, were better than in Frozen 1. The story was a little like ultimately, if I had to pick which one I liked better, I think I'd like Frozen 1 over Frozen 2. But yeah, that's it's fine. Like, you got little kids.
Yeah.
There were a ton of little kids and families. There were kids cosplaying as Elsa and Anna going to see this movie. Like, little kids, like 6-7-year-olds. I was like, oh my god, like, it's, someday those kids, like, they're going to go to, like, conventions cosplaying as whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing about that movie, is that, like, kids freaking loved it so much. Like, I think I don't know numbers or anything, but I think it was, like, had more success than, like, when we were kids of, like, The Lion King or Aladdin or anything. Like, it's crazy. And, like, the merchandising was unbelievable. Even, like, really bad Frozen video games are, like, selling a lot of copies because, like, it just has Frozen stamped on it.
Mm-hmm. It is, yeah. Frozen has become, like, its own, like, media, like, powerhouse at this point. It's a huge cash cow for Disney, which, I mean, good for them, because they were really, really struggling for a while there. They really needed to pull in.
Yeah.
They needed something to break their way.
They needed a miracle.
They needed a miracle, and by God, they found one in the Frozen wastes.
Frozen is about cocaine selling, right?
Yes. It's set in South America. Elsa and Anna, they are both drug runners. Elsa is the one who's heavily into the business. Anna was like the pure innocent one who slowly gets into the business, like little by little.
Right. And
by the end, Anna is even more ruthless than what Elsa was. It's actually a really interesting character arc.
And the snowman guy is just made out of cocaine.
He's just a coke-induced hallucination. You can't even get hallucinations on coke. That's how much coke they're doing.
Yes, indeed. All right, that's good. Glad you saw that.
We've also been watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus.
So I haven't talked to anybody who's actually seen that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, like, sincerely good? Is it terrible? Is it okay?
It's pretty good so far, I gotta say. Like, it's like the first couple episodes, like at this point they just released episode 3, so we just watched episode 3, and it felt like it.
Oh, it's not a whole season?
No, Disney Plus is switching it up with the streaming services like Netflix and everyone else releases seasons in bulk. Disney Plus is going back to the release one episode per week model, which yeah, it's fine. It's different speed, but they just came out with episode 3 last night, and a couple nights ago, and we finally, I feel like, gotten to like, okay, here's the premise of the series at this point. So the first couple episodes were like setting everything up, and then now here we are. Here's like the crux. Here's like, okay, now we're hooked. It is a little slow going, but the person who helped create The Mandalorian is Dave Filoni. He's the same person who's behind the Clone Wars cartoons, the Rebels cartoons, which were very, very highly acclaimed. They got some of the best writing and character development really in the Star Wars media franchise. And having him behind this, you can really tell, like, okay, yeah, there's like some meat behind this. And it takes a little bit to get going, but it's really, really good so far. I'm really enjoying it. Elena's enjoying it, so yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out.
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't know what to think because the only like preview I saw of it was I was watching a football game the other night, and they were like, "Oh, at halftime we have a preview of The Mandalorian," and it was like the most cliche thing you could ever think of as like, you know, the Mandalorian guy walks into the bar and like a record stops and like everyone's looking at him, and then like the big tough guy comes over and is like, "Hey, you gotta buy me a drink or whatever," and the Mandalorian's just ignoring him, and then he's like, "Hey, didn't you hear me? Like, you gotta buy me a drink," and then like they start fighting, and then the Mandalorian kicks the crap out of him and everybody else at the bar, and I was like, "Oh, that's so like lame." But if that's not really what it's like, then
yeah,
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's mostly like it's a lot of tension and building up to action scenes. Where did that clip end?
So the Mandalorian guy, is it Boba Fett? Or
It
is
is not.
else?
No, this takes place between episodes 3 and 4. So the Jedi Purge happened, like Revenge of the Sith happened, and now it's leading up to A New Hope. So it's in that in between stage.
So like the guy, like there's a guy running out of the bar. So like the hero guy uses like his batarang or whatever.
Oh, his grappling hook.
The grappling hook thing.
You're,
yeah. He, like,
you're mixing
pulls the guy
franchises.
in as the door is closing and like cuts the guy in half or something.
Okay,
that was cool. But,
that was pretty rad. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you saw at least that part.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. It's like I said, it takes a little bit to get going, but you stick with it. I feel like it pays off. You get the now legendary Baby Yoda makes an appearance. Who, I mean, Elena.
Is that actually Yoda, or is that just one of Yoda's species?
It is a baby of Yoda's species.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But no,
Yoda's like 900 years old, isn't he?
Yeah. No one knows what Yoda's species is called, though, so everyone just refers to it as Baby Yoda.
Flurb Gores.
Fun fact, I don't know how the aging of this species must be just all a kilter, because that Baby Yoda is 50 years old.
Awesome.
I'm really glad I told you that as you were taking a sip of whatever it is you're drinking. I was half expecting a spit take right there.
All right. This has been the What Are We Watching podcast.
Yeah, but no, I can tie it in because there is Star Wars related to video games this week.
Very true.
Yep, which I can talk about.
Before we get to that, though, Chris, our later topic today was your brainchild, and I gotta say, it was quite brilliant. We want to fill everybody in on what we're going to be talking about later.
Of course, yes. Thank you for reminding me. What a crucial part of the episode. What is the episode about? So it's an email show.
Hey! Email.
100 episodes in, and we're finally having an email show. We've answered emails before on the show, so we decided, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we had a whole bunch of emails to answer? So we put out a call to a lot of our closest friends, people who've been on the show before, and said, hey, can you send in some emails? Let us know if you have any questions about anything. And these topics can be related to video games. They could be related to whatever. And we got a bunch of emails come in, so we're going to be reading them a little later. I'm very excited. I can't wait to see how our brains are going to be picked in about an hour or so.
Yeah, and neither of us have looked at these emails yet, so we're not sure what we're going to be reading. So our answers and reactions will be quite fresh.
Yeah. All right. This one comes in from, Butch. How do you guys justify Christianity's teachings in the face of oh, crap. Cut the mic.
Who knows? That might come later. We will see.
We'll see. We're going into this blind, so yes. We'll cross that bridge if we get to it.
Yes, but before that, as Chris was alluding to earlier, it's time to talk about video games, and specifically games we have been playing. So, Chris, I will ask you, what are you playing? What are you playing?
Justin, I'm glad you asked. I've been on a bit of a Star Wars kick lately. As I've mentioned, I was watching a lot of The Mandalorian, and also, when I haven't been doing that, I've been playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes, that is awesome. I'm actually really glad you got this because I still want to pick it up, but I want to hear from someone who's played it, what to expect or, if it's worth it and all that stuff. So, get to work.
Yes, sir. So, Jedi Fallen Order, firstly, I have to say thank you once again to my lovely and wonderful girlfriend, Elena. She's the one who got the copy for me. So, thank you, Elena. Jedi Fallen Order is it's tough to discuss like a lot of the finer details of the game because a lot of it is really tied up in the narrative of the game, like the story. So I'm going to try to keep the discussion as spoiler free as possible because it's a game like a lot of the story beats that it hits, like it's a really interesting story, and I think it's something that if you're really interested in playing a game, you should experience firsthand. So, firstly, right off the bat, this game is fantastic. I think if you have the opportunity to play this game, you should really check it out. But it is not without flaws. It is not a perfect game.
Sure.
But
there really is no such thing, is there?
There really is no such thing. I mean, except for Super Mario World. But aside from that, there are no perfect games. So, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. You play a Jedi by the name of Cal Kestis. And Cal, really great representation this year for redheads, I gotta say. Shout out to the video game industry at large.
Yes, more gingers in games, please.
Yeah, more gingers in games, please. It's nice for me to just play someone who looks like me. So that's always great. But yeah, Cal is a Jedi. The story of the game takes place similar to The Mandalorian. It is after the Jedi Purge, and it is before A New Hope. So it's in that same setting, like between episodes 3 and 4. And Cal has survived the Jedi Purge, naturally. So he's kind of in hiding. He's trying to keep away from the Empire, or what's left of the Empire. Their overreach, because they're still hunting for any Jedi who are out there. He's hiding out. He gets discovered, and he has to make a run for it. And he's saved by these two people, Ciri, who is a former Jedi herself, and she's on the run, although she's a former Jedi, like she's cut off her own personal connection to the Force. So she's not really a Force user anymore. I don't know how you do that.
You can do that. Yeah.
Apparently.
Just an on and off switch.
Yeah, she's just like, all right, I don't feel like being one with the Force anymore.
Just eat some paint chips till you forget everything.
So yeah, and then there's Grease. Grease, he's the captain of the ship that you're on, and basically they show, as you're like running for your life, the two of them show up, and they do like that, come with us if you want to live, and and Cal's like, okay, sure. What choice does he have? So he joins up with them, and here they're on a secret mission from Ceres, former Jedi Master, who he's dead at this point, but the whole crux of the game is there's a holocron. It's this thing that Jedi can use to communicate or pass along messages. There's a holocron that the Master had hidden away, which featured the names of Force-sensitive children. And the idea is you, Siri, and Grease are trying to find this holocron before the Empire does. Because you find it, and then you have these children and rebuild the Jedi Order from there. The Empire finds it, and they're going to go and kill these Force-sensitive children. So you got to
extinguish.
Yes, so you have to try to get there before they do, and it's really, really cool. So Grease is hilarious because he's like some frumpy, large-headed alien guy. He flies the ship place to place, and he just talks in regular Joe accent. Like, yeah, we're gonna be flying over to Kashyyyk. We're gonna be making deliveries to the Wookiees or some such. And it's funny. Like, I was listening to him and I was thinking, like, he sounded familiar. I was like, where have I heard this guy before? And I looked up the voice actor. Now, I forgot his name. I don't know his name, and I think he was in some things that I may have heard of. But most importantly, I saw he was from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And I realized, oh, that's where I've heard him from. Literally everyone I've ever spoken to in my entire life.
Oh.
like he's got a very thick, Pennsylvania, Southeast Pennsylvania accent going on. And it's hilarious. And he's just like some guy I'm just flying around, don't get any mud on the carpets or whatever. Does
he call you a John?
he does not. He has not referred to anything as Johns yet.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's coming. But yeah, he's really funny. There's a little bit of banter, like when you're traveling between different planets. Because that's part of the gameplay is you have to hop from planet to planet to try to figure out, okay, the Jedi Master, he left clues oh, I discovered this thing over here, and then you fly to that planet, you find the thing, and then he's like, oh, I found this thing and it led me back to the first planet. And I'm like, oh, all right. So
is it like Outer Worlds where you can pick which one you want to go to, or is it like a linear path where you go to this one first and then this one and then the next one?
You can choose where you go. There's markers that tell you okay, this planet is where the next story mission is, but you can just choose whichever planet you want to go to next.
Cool.
So it does let you know, hey, if you want to continue the story, go here, but these other planets are here too, so you can explore to your heart's content. So the actual gameplay, it's third person behind the back, and the game is very... It's funny because a lot of people describe it as a combination of a lot of other different game styles. There's a lot of climbing and exploration like you'd find in the Uncharted series.
Okay.
The map system very heavily reminds me of Metroid Prime 2, because it's that weird 3D type of map where you see a little a hologram, and you see areas that you've been to, and then there's little yellow doorways that represent unexplored areas. So if you go through them, and if you go through them, then the rest of the map in that area opens up. So that helps lead you to, okay, you haven't explored these areas yet or whatever. You have a little companion, BD1. He's an adorable little droid.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah, he's an adorable little droid. He is the he gives you your map. He provides you with stim packs, which are healing items. So if you're running low on health, you press a button and he'll just shoot something out at you, and you inject it into yourself, and you regain some health. So there's...
Gotcha.
And now you only have a certain number of those to use before you run out completely, so you can't just spam it. You gotta actually be pretty good at the actual combat. And the combat is very tricky to master because the combat is inspired from Dark Souls and the Bloodborne games.
Yeah, that sounds cool because from what I've been reading, it's definitely Dark Soulsy and like where you have to learn patterns and time attacks and stuff. But it's also not that trademark Dark Souls frustratingly impossible. Like, it's still challenging,
yes,
but not enough to like make you throw your controller through your TV screen.
Yeah, they're definitely it's definitely a bit challenging. When I first started out, a lot of people online had recommended, oh, you got to play it on the hardest difficulty. I was like, screw that. So I went on the second highest. I was like, because it was like, oh, you know, if you want to explore the world, but you want like a little bit of a challenge, you know, you want to feel some sort of brushback. And I'm like, okay, yeah. And it's Jedi Knight. So I selected that, and I was doing good for a little bit. But then I got to this one planet where there were these giant toad monsters, and they were
Todulon.
No, their name literally is like Ogdo Bogdo. Yeah, it's hysterical. So the Ogdo Bogdo wrecked my shit repeatedly, and I was like, okay, you know what? I was like, I don't have time for this. I don't need this kind of stress. So I took it down, and I just set it on the lowest difficulty. I was like, just give me the story. Like, let me breeze through the combat. Let me just figure it out. And it obviously is much easier to manage at this point. But you still have to have, like, that Dark Souls, like, combat experience and that training down. The game encourages a lot of parrying. So even enemies that are attacking you that don't have like a lightsaber, or if it's a giant toad that's trying to bite you, you still have to try to parry it. So like you just deflect them with your lightsaber, and that leads to like all sorts of amazing badass combos that you can do, versus if you just simply spam the attack button and you like slice these guys up. And I mean, you can slice people up, but it's not as satisfying at the end. You get a lot of force powers that you can use, which help you solve a lot of environmental puzzles. Like, let's say, oh, there's an item, there's a ledge over there that's way too far to jump, but oh, hey, here, there's like a bridge that's sitting up. Well, you can use your force powers to pull the top of it down, and it'll like collapse down, and then you can run across. You can use your force powers in combat, which is a lot of fun. I can't.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Just
throwing people around.
Man, let me tell you, there's something wrong in my head which makes me do terrible things to enemies when I have the ability to. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 was the first time I played a game, and I legit thought to myself, man, there is something wrong with me. And then, like, the stormtroopers in this game, like, I'm grabbing them, like, I'm force pulling them towards me, and they're like, oh, order! And at that point, I can either press my lightsaber and just stab them right in front of me, and they're like, ah! And it's like, okay, great, they're dead. Or I force pull them, and then I just turn to the ledge that's to my left, and I force push, and they just go flying off the ledge, and they're like, ah! And then that's it.
I remember all like the old Star Wars games. I can't remember what some of them were called, but if any of them had good force mechanics where you could literally toss people around, it never got old.
That's what's great about Star Wars games in general, is just like it's perfect. Like being a Jedi and like being able to cut things up with the lightsaber, using force powers to push and pull and like do whatever to people. It's incredible. There was one time a guy, was a stormtrooper, shot a laser at me, and I used the force to slow down time, and his blaster was tracing like towards me, and then I just grabbed the guy and I force pulled him to myself, and I pulled him into the blaster blast,
Man, that's awesome.
and it killed him.
That is really cool.
I got a trophy for it.
He said sheepishly.
I mean, we don't want to reward any bad behaviors on this show. I mean,
That was bitch.
But that was so awesome. Kids, if you got the chance to kill like that, you do it.
Oh, that is really cool. Yeah, it sounds cool. You said there's some caveats, though?
There are definitely some caveats. Now, I'm playing this game on the PS4, and
Okay.
I admit I haven't done too much research, but from what I think, these issues are more pronounced on the PS4 than they are on other platforms. Graphically, this game really like I guess the disc or the system really hates how much there is on the game to do,
man.
because there is a lot of slowdown. The frame rate a lot of times takes noticeable drops. Like you'll be running places, and like I was just doing a mission right now where I was running for the ship as I was being chased by a ton of different enemies, and this game was literally like slowing down to like a crawl as I was running. Like I was literally like frame, and I'm like, oh man, this is bad. The worst instances though, like this game, like many other modern games, has different areas where, oh, you're in an elevator, or like God of War last year, where you slip through like a little narrow alleyway, and as you're sliding along, that acts as a loading screen, so the next area can load up. So the game has areas like that where you let the next zone load up, but even then, you'll go into a new area, or you'll open a door to a new area, and the game will just literally freeze. Like, it'll just freeze in place for like 10-15 seconds, and then it'll go back to normal, and you can run around again.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. This game desperately needs some patching on the back end, like legit. It's honestly bad enough that I'm a little hesitant in even recommending the game. For as great as the game is, how much fun it is when it's actually working and running properly, those slowdown issues are seriously bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so definitely it's something to keep in mind of when you're playing the game. All in all, though, like, aside from that, like, the gameplay itself is really, really fun. The level design, I didn't even talk about the level design. There's right now 4 planets that I can travel to, and each one has been really well designed. They're fun to explore. There's lots of areas to climb. There's like, oh, there's a secret area over there. There's a little alcove over there. Can I like get over there somehow? And it turns out you can. And guess what? There's a treasure chest, or there's a force echo. Now, Cal has a specific ability unique to him where he can sense quote-unquote force echoes, where he can sense something that happened in the past, and if it leaves like a powerful influence on the force, Cal can sense it, and he can get an idea of, oh, something happened here. Like there's one planet where the Empire is doing a lot of like drilling underneath for like resources. Like they're trying to mine a planet for its natural resources. So you go to like this one end of a cave, and there's like a stormtrooper who's like half covered by dirt, and you sense his force echo, and you hear the stormtrooper like, you hear him like, wait, go back, we gotta, oh no, and Cal's like, oh man, like there was a cave in here, like they were just going. And he realizes the Empire was just plowing ahead. They weren't worrying about like, oh, safety or anything like that. They were just like, we need to plow this area like fast. And
Wow.
you get like, it's added to like different lore that you can figure out about different areas, enemies that you kill, a lot of the wildlife or Imperial troopers. You BD1 will scan them, and it adds them to kind of like a bestiary that you can look back on, and it'll tell you, oh, here's information about this animal, here's ways to fight them when you come across them. So yeah, there's a lot.
That's cool.
The treasure chests that you can find, there are upgrades for BD1 where you can put more stim canisters in his head. You can find outfits and customizable looks for Cal, BD1, and your ship. So you can make all of them look different. There's also echo points where you can just absorb essences like life essence or force essence, and if you find 3 of each, then it will upgrade your life or your force meter respectively.
Oh, okay. Like health and stamina and Breath of the Wild kind of thing.
Pretty much. And finally, there are meditation spots that you go to where that essentially saves your game. So if you die, you will respawn at the last meditation point that you meditated at. Meditation spots are also where you can access your skill tree. And as you kill enemies and as you find like force echoes or whatever, you get like little skill points, and then like your skill meter, let's say.
Okay.
You fill your skill meter, and as it gets maxed out, that's 1 skill point. And it gets maxed out again, and then you've got 2 skill points.
Got it.
You take those skill points and you invest them in your skill tree, and you can say, okay, you can upgrade your force powers, you can upgrade your combat abilities with the lightsaber, you can upgrade your health, so you can say, oh, when you do this, BD1 will give you more health, or you upgrade your combat abilities so you get the ability to like throw your lightsaber and then like bring it back, and
that's always cool.
It'll like kill anyone in their path. It's really cool. You also, at the meditation spots, you have kind of a risk reward move where you can rest. So if you're like really hurt, and if you're low on stim packs, if don't have a lot of force left, you can rest at the meditation spots, and it will refill all of that. But all of the enemies that you've taken out will respawn.
Oh, that's kind of like Dark Souls 2, isn't it, with the bonfires?
Yes, exactly. So you can recover all that, but all the enemies that maybe you had a lot of trouble with taking out, they come back.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
very, very, very Soulsian. It's just a lot. It feels like the game took a lot of the best parts of certain games and mixed them all up into this new game, and then said, all right, and it's a Star Wars game. So
yeah, I mean, on paper it sounds great.
Yeah, so this game it's just fantastic. Like, it's a lot of fun. I'm pretty invested in the characters. Like, it's well written. The story is really, really well done. I'm having a really great time with it. The technical issues aside, and they're bad. Like, trust me, they are terrible. But there's a lot of meat to this game that is well worth getting into. So yeah, I love it.
That's awesome, man. I'm really glad you're enjoying that. How far are you?
I'd say I've got to be at least like 10 hours or so into the game. Like I'm not too far. I don't think. I don't want to say I've spent like dozens of hours in this game. But I'm a good ways in. I'm almost certain I'm pretty sure I'm getting close to the end point. My skill tree is almost completely filled up. I've got like 7 or 8 skills that are left to unlock total. But yeah, I'm getting there.
Awesome.
All right.
Sounds cool.
And honestly, that's really everything that I've been playing. I've been kind of absorbed with that game for a bit. So I'm just gonna toss it right back to you, man. What have you been playing?
Yeah, man, pretty much same for me. Really focused in on one game. I did beat Outer Worlds. I don't remember if I talked about that on the last podcast, but
I don't know if you did.
Yeah. I wrapped that up. You know, I liked the ending. So it was a little abrupt, but I liked how it kind of wrapped up the story. I think they did a pretty good job with that. I kind of felt like the game ended at a good time. Like when it was over, I was like, all right, I'm good. You know, I didn't feel like I needed to play more, and I also didn't feel like I was just like, oh my god, when is this going to end? Like it was like at a good spot for me.
Right.
You know, I completed all of the character quests that you can do, the companion quests.
Oh, nice.
They were fun. Yeah, some were better than others, but some of them are really cool and like you know, actually got you into the characters a little bit more. So that was good. Yeah, you know, I really don't have too much to say. Like I enjoyed that game. I have problems with that game, but overall I enjoyed it. And I'm glad I played it and beat it.
Nice. Yeah, I'd heard that a lot of people said like there were a lot of reviewers said something similar. Like a lot of the game was like, you know, like there were issues, but then a lot of people said the ending was actually really, really good. A lot of people really enjoyed the ending of the Outer Worlds. I actually I jumped off of the Outer Worlds to play Star Wars. My plan is once I finish up with Star Wars, then I'll hop back into the Outer Worlds and finish that up. And it's not because of any issues I had with the Outer Worlds. It's just that, you know, I really want to play the new Star Wars game. But yeah, I'm really glad that you got through all the companion quests. I don't know, man. Like, did Felix have a companion quest of his own to do?
He does. Yeah. It's not great, but he's got one.
What a surprise! Something about Felix not being great. I'm not a fan of Felix. He does nothing for me.
Yeah.
His whole shtick just completely falls flat for me.
Yeah. You know, I was talking to Nick about it, and he actually had a really good point that the game starts off very strong, and then it kind of dips in the middle, and I think a lot of like enthusiasm and stuff falls out. You know, you find all the guns pretty much by the middle of the game. You've seen all the items by the middle of the game. You've seen all the different types of enemies by the middle of the game. Like it's just like you kind of like have your fill in the middle, and it starts to get a little tedious maybe. Especially with, I was having a big problem with a lot of these quests, the side quests I was trying to do. It would be like, all right, let's go to this planet and talk to this guy. So you got a load screen to your ship, pick the planet you want to go to, load screen to the planet, get off the planet, load screen to fast travel to the town you have to go to talk to the guy, find the guy, talk to the guy, and then talk to your companion. And they're like, oh, okay, that's great. Now let's go back to this planet and talk to this guy. And then you gotta fast travel back to your ship, load screen, pick the planet, load screen. But I'm like, it killed the flow for me so much. It was really frustrating. And it was hard because like, it's not bad when you're following like the main quest, and then every now and then you're breaking off to do the side. But I was just trying to spend some time wrapping up my side quests, and like, oh my god, man, it just felt like a chore, just like going back and forth, load screen, like. Yeah, so that definitely, I can see how, you know, that was dipping out in the middle. But it does come back strong at the end. It gets you invested again. You know, the story comes to a head, like, you know. So, yeah, you know, definitely play it, finish it up. I don't think you're that really far from the end. If you're still in Monarch, or did you wrap that up?
I'm still in Monarch. I I feel like I've been exploring Monarch for my entire life.
Yeah.
That is a large planet with a lot to explore and
Yeah, there's
seem
a
to-
lot going on Monarch.
Mhm.
And it sucks because like all the enemies are kind of like the same and stuff, and
Yeah.
you know, just I think Monarch is where it starts to dip down.
Yeah.
But you know, you'll get out of there and it gets better again.
I've mentioned before, I don't know if I mentioned it on the pod, but I'm at a point where before, like when I first got to Monarch, I was still like stealthy, sneaky, like, oh, there's enemies, like we got to sneak around and pick them off and blah blah blah, and then it'd be like, okay, you know, like, ooh, that was close. I'm now at the point where I literally see enemies and I'm just like, oh, okay, and I just like traipse right to the middle of the camp, and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, all right, guys, like my companions, I'm like, guys, go nuts. And they just and they just go in and they're boop, 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 and everyone is dead. And I'm like, all right, cool, loot their bodies, get some ammo, and I'm like, all right, cool, moving on. And we just move on. And I'm like, you know, like the challenge is dipping a little, the thrill, you know, like I'm starting to get into that ease that everyone was talking about with that game, like, oh, it gets really easy. And I'm like, yeah, here it is.
Yeah, maybe it's the difficulty we're playing on or whatever, but there is a point where you just become like inhumanly strong. At the end of the game, it gets really hard again, but like, yeah, the whole middle of the game, like you said, you just kind of walk into an area and like your allies kill everyone before you have a chance to fire a bullet. Like, it's crazy.
I thought you said your eyes kill everyone. And I was just imagining, like, you get to the point where you just look at someone, they look at you, and they're like, oh, and they just like, how do you defend that?
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's Outer Worlds. I'm glad I beat it though, because now I can fully focus my time on Luigi's Mansion.
Yes.
Which I'm just taking my time with, really enjoying. You know, I'm trying to think what I like most about that game, and I think so far I'm a little past halfway. Two things that stand out the most to me are, one, like you were talking about the level design on Fallen Order. The level design in Luigi's Mansion 3 is phenomenal. It's just so cool how they, you know, unveil to you how like the hotel works, where every floor of the hotel has a theme, and it just goes all in on that theme in a way I wouldn't expect like it to do. Like, you know, one level is a music room, so like, you know, all the rooms on this floor have like pianos and tubas and stuff, and you can interact with them, and like there's puzzles that you have to blow into a tuba to open a door, like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
The next floor was a castle floor, and like you open up these two doors, and it leads to a giant like joust stadium that's somehow in this hotel floor, and like everything's made out of like, you know, the old stone walls, and there's like knight armor statues standing up that you can interact with, and like it really leans into like the environment. The next floor was a garden area, so like every room is overrun with like foliage and like tall grass and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The main ghost in that floor is a gardener, and like he takes because you're trying to get the elevator buttons back from all the ghosts, and he takes he shows you that he has the elevator button that you need, and then he like plants a seed and then waters it, and this giant like tree comes up in the middle of the room, and on the top of the tree is where the elevator button is, so you have to like scale the tree to get up to the elevator button, and like you're like using your poltergust to like, you know, suck on a vine and swing across it and like unravel leaves so you can walk across them. Like, it's just really creative. Yeah, it's awesome.
Wow, that's really interesting. Just the different ways that they can think to use the poltergust in ways that, like, you never would have even imagined. I've been watching Elena play the game herself. She actually beat it last night.
Nice.
Yeah, so she's been having an absolute blast with it. Did you get to the Egyptian floor yet?
No, I have not. The next one I have is the movie making floor.
Okay, I won't say anything then. I will just say that there was a room on that floor that both Elena and I were like, oh my God. Imagine like a kid in a candy shop. That was the reaction we both had to this room. I won't say anything else, but I'm sure when you get to it you'll understand.
Okay, I will certainly look out for that.
Yeah, but yeah, just watching Elena play it, I'm blown away by just the level of details, the how all in, like you said, they are with each of these floors and the theme that they're all going for.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to point out was the boss design and boss fights are really unexpectedly intricate and fun. There's a lot of steps to how you can like make them vulnerable, so you can start to suck them up. Like in the music floor, the boss is a ghost pianist, and like he's playing the piano, and you sneak up on him, and then he like goes into the piano. And the piano comes alive, and I was thinking of Super Mario 64. We were talking about the other podcast
Right.
about the horrifying piano. But there's all these steps where like it's like shooting its keys at you and stuff, but you have to it's like jumping on you like vertically, and you have to get your suction cup on it, and then flip it over, and then it'll like smash onto the stage, and then the top of the piano opens up, and these bombs come out. And you have to suck up a bomb and then fire it back into the piano, and then the piano will flip up on its front, and then you have to put your plunger on it and then flip it over and break it open, and then the ghost comes out and you have to suck them up. Like, so there's like all these different intricate interactive steps you have to go through just to get to the ghost. And yeah, like all the boss fights are different and really creative. Like the castle room, you're in a joust fight with this king ghost, and like you're trying to dodge out of the way of his joust pole, and like you got to figure out how to break through his armor. The gardener, he has like this plant that he's like chasing you with, and there's a buzz saw that's just kind of lying on the ground, and you can suck it up with your poltergust and turn it on, and then you have to try and like use the buzz saw to like cut the stem of that plant so you can create an opening for the ghost. Like, it's just so good.
Nice. Yeah, that's really awesome.
I was really looking forward to this game. It was my most anticipated game of the year. And, like, I'm having more fun than I thought. Because playing the first two Luigi's Mansion games, like, I really like them because, I'm super Luigi biased. But, it's they were fun. But they weren't, like, super exciting or exhilarating games or anything. And I think, like, they just really went all in on this game. And it really is a Switch must-own, I think.
How do you like the puzzles that involve Gooigi?
I love them. They're great. I love Gooigi's sound effects. Yeah, I like the idea. I haven't tried co-op yet, but I've heard it works really well if one person wants to play as Gooigi. They're clever too. There's a lot of stuff that I had to like think about for a little while before I figured it out. It's just fun, and it's just really well-crafted puzzle design. And yeah, I mean, definitely check it out when you can. I'm really, really digging this game.
All right, awesome.
Yep, and that's it for me.
Not quite yet, Justin. I know there's been at least one more game that you've been monkeying around with, and that, of course, is your Indie Arcade.
Indie Arcade.
If you remember from last time, I assigned Justin the modern masterpiece, Mad Monkey, to play with. Justin, tell us all about it.
There's so much about Mad Monkey that I hate that I don't know where to start. So you have to give me a second.
Take your time, man. We've got all day.
So you could get it on itch.io, but I got it on mobile because I guess that's the true way to play. I don't know.
Yeah, if you're a Mad Monkey purist, you got to play it on its original platform.
Yeah. So I got it off the Play Store. And I don't play a lot of mobile games, so I don't know if this is standard, but the game is meant to be played horizontally, not vertically. So that was cool.
Yeah, there are some games that are like that. I remember when I had an iPhone, there's a game for it called Tiny Wings, where that had to be played horizontally, where you had to make little bird with tiny wings zoom along these different hills. So it's actually pretty entertaining. It's a good way to kill time.
So I did appreciate that, and I was surprised because upon first glance of the game, I thought it was going to be like an endless runner or something like that, something where there's just like one button to press and you just kind of, run through a level, or like a jetpack type of game or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not. It's like a full-fledged side-scrolling adventure game with levels.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and worlds and stuff, and I was pretty surprised by that. So
sounds really intricate and well designed.
All that excitement was quickly extinguished when I started playing the game.
Oh, God.
The countless rip-offs of Super Mario Brothers that are in this game are just, like, unbelievable. Like, you literally... The first level, World 1-1, is set up exactly like World 1-1 in Super Mario Brothers, where you walk in and there's, like, brick, question mark block, brick, question mark block, brick, and then above that, like, the brick, the question mark block, and the brick. Like, actual yellow question mark blocks and brown brick things that, they produce bananas and peaches instead of coins, but there actually are coins you can collect as well. And then this purple monster gooey thing comes in, the same movement as a Goomba would have. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, all right, maybe this was a fun thing they were doing, like, for the first level. They were like, oh, we're paying homage to Super Mario Brothers.
Right.
Arguably the father of all, side-scrolling games.
Yeah, you have to pay tribute.
Yeah. The more I go on, there's pipes in this game for no reason, because there's not even a down button. There's spiny shell enemies. There are fish that jump out of water. Like, it is unbelievable. Like, they just weren't even trying.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So yeah, the controls are on the screen, which I loathe. I hate this so much. But it's like, on the bottom left side of the screen, there's like a left button and a right button, and then there's a B, an A, and an up button on the right side of the screen. And I get that's how it has to work for a phone game, but I just hate it because your thumbs don't feel where the buttons are, so you have to look and make sure you're pressing the right thing, or else you're going to hit the wrong button and accidentally kill yourself, which happened to me multiple frustrating times. And yeah, there's no down button, so there's no ducking, so you can't even go down a pipe if you wanted to. You just kind of stand on one. And all these weird, different creatures, like, there is that purple gooey thing. There are, like, spiky shell, like, turtle things that are, supposed to be, like, Koopa Troopas and Spinies. There's, like, these fish up out of water. These green prickly things. These purple prickly things that look a lot like the, I forget what they're called, the woolies or something. There's the black prickly things in Super Mario World.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then there was a red bird with thick black eyebrows, which I think is just the Angry Bird from Angry Birds. And they were, like, throwing shade at Angry Birds or something.
Yeah.
Because he flies at you as an enemy.
Yeah, you're like, you can't come at the Angry Bird. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Oh, God, there's just so... Where else can I go here? So... You're a ninja monkey, I guess. He has that, like, a bandana on, and he has that... I guess it's a bow staff that has, like, a ribbon at the top or whatever.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and your two attacks are, you can swing that, or you can throw, I guess, peach core seeds, because you eat a peach, and then you get, like, the seed count goes up, and then you can also throw them. Peach pit, I guess you could call it. But there's no, like, the world doesn't match the fact that you're a ninja monkey, like, at all. It's just, like, trees and plants, and, like, none of the enemies are, like, feudal Japan related or anything like that. They're just weird creatures. The music is just bright and chippy, like, do 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 do. But, yeah, it's not Mario music, but it's like a minute long, and then it'll just end, so it'll go like dun, 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 and then silence, and then it starts up again. Like,
Oh,
there's
man.
no loop.
Oh,
It's so frustrating.
Oh, that is a listen, I don't know too much about music, all right, but I know that is a cardinal sin of video game music. It's got to loop into itself. Like there can't be
Yeah,
a pause. It's
no
got
loop at all.
Oh man, that's awful. That's the worst.
Yeah. God, and it's got a timer like Super Mario Bros. Oh, and at the end of the level, there's like the stone pyramid that you climb up to, like to get to the end.
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
it's ridiculous.
Well, no wonder he fell out of place. This is a world designed for an Italian plumber to traverse, not a ninja monkey.
You know, like it's not a terrible game, but that's because it's just a low budget Mario Brothers. Like, I played like a handful of levels. You know, it was just.
That's fine, man. Yeah, you don't have to go. You don't have to like 100% the game. Although I would have appreciated that. But
I think I don't know. It'll take me forever. Like each world had like 20 levels in it. I was like, get the fuck out
what?
of here. Yeah, it showed 3 worlds that were unlocked. No, the first world's unlocked. 2 and 3 were locked, but it was showing that there will be way more if you kept playing.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's a little better if you play with an actual controller, but it's
not worth
Man,
looking into.
Just play old Mario Bros, man. Like, oh god, that's what it wants to be so bad.
So what about this monkey was mad?
That's another thing I wanted to bring up. Nothing. He's smiling the whole time. Even the enemies are smiling. Like, there's no problems. Everyone's fine. He's killing these things for no reason. Like,
Maybe that's
everyone's
it.
just trying to get along.
Maybe that's it. Maybe he's like mad, like the old style of mad. Like, oh, he's gone
the
mad.
crazy
Oh,
sense?
he's gone mad. Like he's crazy.
Yeah. I also wanted to say that there's a wall jump mechanic that's kind of like, you know, remember Mega Man X, how he like jumps up walls?
Oh yeah,
and stuff?
yeah.
So that's in the game for no reason. Maybe they, figure monkeys are pretty agile that they would be able to do that. But I think it's in there because the controls are so bad, they're like throwing you a bone. Because there were a few times where like I missed a jump and was falling, but like hit the wall and just kind of hopped my way up.
Oh.
And yeah, I think that's why that was in there.
Well, that's very considerate.
Yeah, so the only mad thing about Mad Monkey is that I'm mad that I wasted time playing.
Well, you know what? It's all I can ask for. Is that you were upset.
Yes. But that time is over. And Chris, if you remember last episode, I made you a promise that
Oh yes, you did.
I was going to go back to a previous email from someone who will remain nameless that gave me a list of 12 games for you to possibly play.
Yes, I remember this wretched list.
Well, it's making a comeback for you this week. Chris, okay, so there are 12 games here. Number 3 was Dinner Date. You've played that already?
Yes.
And number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 was Granny. You played that already.
Okay.
So 3 and 9 you cannot pick, but I'll leave the rest up to you. Pick a number.
All right. You know what? Lucky number 7.
All right, is that your final answer?
God, you're already laughing. Yes, number 7.
All right, number 7. Let's see. Okay, this game is on Steam.
Okay.
Whew. All reviews are mostly negative.
Oh boy.
I'm not even sure what type of game this is. Oh man.
God.
It's $4.99.
Okay.
It's labeled as adventure, casual, and indie. Your game is called Uriel's Chasm. About this game, the death of everything. That's all it says.
Uriel's Chasm and apparently Uriel's Chasm 2 and Uriel's Chasm 3.
Oh, I didn't know there were sequels. But
There's a trilogy. All right.
yeah. The picture is just two girls' faces with the words Uriel's Chasm
Oh yeah.
above it. Uriel's Chasm is an acquired taste, but something tells me this could find its way to reaching cult classic status one day. I'm not sure that's true.
It might be reaching cult classic for entirely different reasons.
Yeah. It looks like a space shooter, I guess. Looking at some of the screenshots.
Yeah, it looks like I'm watching the trailer for it right now, and I don't understand what's happening here. Apparently, this is a let's play of this game that goes terribly wrong. Maybe.
Oh, is that the story?
Maybe, because that's like the FMV goes. This art just looks terrible. Like it just does.
Very messy.
This just does not look good.
Well,
What is I barely understand what's happening from this trailer. Like this is, and then it's back to
yeah, I gave up watching.
and then it's back to like the real life people. Are they like? I don't know what's happening here.
Look, take your questions now, because you will be answering them all next episode when you grace us with your time spent playing Uriel's Chasm. I can see your face through the webcam, and you look mighty pleased.
It's funny you say that because I'm not. I'm very disappointed in this choice, but play it I shall. I will give a full report next time we record, and we'll see what happens from there.
You are a trooper.
I'm nothing if not a trooper.
All right, what do you say we take a quick break, and when we come back, we dig into some of those emails.
Emails. Quack.
Welcome back to Press A Repeatedly. Justin Tomasello here with Christopher Gold, and we are doing our first ever mailbag.
Emails.
Yes, I must give credit to my beautiful co-host on this great idea.
Yeah, I was. It's funny. The inspiration for this idea came from last week. I was listening to the Giant Beast Cast, and I mean, they've had this format on their show forever, where they take emails from people and they have corrections. You know, they go through like the whole rigmarole, and I realized after so many times listening to their show that a lot of their emails are just about like random dumb shit. Like it's not always like video game related. And I thought, you know what? If they could do it, why can't we? You know, like, yeah, we're bigger than the Giant Beast Cast. We could do an email show about pretty much anything, including video games. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's put out a call. Let's have people say, you know what? Send us some emails about anything. Literally anything. And, we'll just go from there.
Absolutely. As we said earlier, Chris and I have not read any of these emails yet. We have them up. Chris has them up on his screen right now, and we're going to read them one by one as they came in. And, really not much more explanation needed, so why don't we get started here?
Yes, so diving head first into the mailbag. So our first email comes from Elena Tomasello. my girlfriend, your cousin, and she says, "Dear PAR boys, in light of the release of Pokemon Sword and Shield, I thought it might be fun if you both have to fight in the very first PAR Pokemon battle." All right.
Uh-oh.
Oh, all right. Okay. Hold on. I got to give you this link. So,
Okay.
all right. So, first, both of you go to the following website and set the generate Pokemon number to 1. Then generate 3 times to get your Pokemon. Okay, so here's the link for you, Justin.
Okay.
I'm going to go. All right. So, my Pokemon is Virizion.
Mine. Full disclosure, I'm not a super Pokemon guy, so I don't know a lot of these. I definitely don't know who this or what this is, but I got Zwelios.
Hey, Zwelios, he's your Pokemon. I've got Virizion, and you've got Zwelios.
He is like a 2-headed duck thing that's dark and has wings, and he's also a turtle.
Okay, so here's where we go. Okay, copy step 2, according to Elena's email. Copy your Pokemon's name,
Okay.
and then paste it into the search bar of the Pokemon Dex, which is on this website, which I will also send to you right now.
Okay.
So, copy Zwelios' name and
I like
paste
the
it
steps of this.
and paste it into this link, which is the Pokedex. It is going to
Okay.
give you your Pokemon stats, and it's going to tell you everything you need to know about this Pokemon.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm good. Got it.
All right, so let's see. So mine is a grass fighting Pokemon.
Mine is a dark dragon Pokemon.
All right, so yours is dark dragon and mine is grass fighting. I don't think I have I have no information about Pokemon type matchups, but I'm pretty sure neither of us has a type advantage here.
Okay.
Third, scroll down on the Dex page until we find the move set under the section Pokemon moves learnt by level up. Count all the moves listed and go to a number generator, which I am sending you right now. Oh boy, I wasn't expecting a Pokemon battle to kick things off, but this is awesome. All right.
Okay.
All right, so Pokemon moves learned by Virizion. Okay. Find your moveset, count all the moves listed, and go to this number generator. Did you get it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You will need to set your minimum number to 1 and your maximum number to however many moves your Pokemon can do. In this battle,
Okay.
your Pokemon can use all the moves listed. Level does not matter. Okay. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so I've got 14 moves.
I got 18, baby.
Oh, shit. All right. One of you will need to keep track of the battle as it progresses. Keep a separate piece of paper, write down the HP of both Pokemon, and set aside a calculator if you need it. Okay, so I've got Virizion. You've got Zwelos, whatever.
He's cool looking.
Yeah, whatever. Virizion is better, and you know it.
Okay. I have 72 hit points.
Haha, I have 91.
Oh, crap.
All right. It's awesome. All right. So now, okay. So how do we do this? So one of you will need to keep track of the battles as it progresses. Okay. Whoever spoke last on What Do You Playing segment goes first. So Justin, you have first move.
All right. Cool.
Now, use the number generator website from step 3 to generate what move to use. Think of your move set as a numbered list. Yeah, right. So if we pick 4, then the 4th move is the move that you're using.
Got it. All right. So I got my random number generator set up. I'm
Okay.
rolling. 10 is my first number, which means my 10th move. I'm using Slam on you.
Oh shit.
It's a normal type move.
How much damage does that do?
The power was 80.
Oh my god. Okay, so my max HP was 91, which means you've reduced me to 11 hit points.
Holy crap. Yes!
Shit. Okay. All right. I'm down for this now. All right. So now it's my turn. 1 through 14. I rolled an 8. Retaliate. So I use Retaliate, which does 70 damage to you.
Whoa, gee.
Oh, boy. All right. So you're
So I
down.
have 2 hit points left?
You have 2 hit points left. Boop, 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 boop.
Oh my god.
All right,
It's a wild battle.
all
All
right.
right, I gotta kill you right now. I gotta do it.
You got to do it.
All right, here we go. My number is 3. I use Dragon Breath,
Oh shit.
which is a dragon-based move, and it does 60 power, so you're dead.
Virizion has fainted. Oh no. Zweilous is the winner.
Oh, that was awesome.
Man, I blacked out. I'll Venmo you half my money a little later. Ah, man, that was awesome. Damn, I lost the Pokemon battle, but that was great. just out of nowhere.
Very clever idea.
All right. Well, thank you, Elena. That was a lot of fun.
It was really great to absolutely destroy you.
You obliterated my Virizion, man. Like, you didn't have to come that hard.
Hey, man, all or nothing, baby. That's how we Zweilioses roll.
Well, you know what? I took a chunk of your Zweilous with me.
That's
so...
true. I only had 2 hit points left, so.
That
was very awesome.
Yes. So thank you, Elena. That was that was great. All right. So our next email, we've got a 2-for-1 special with this one, Justin. This one comes from our good friend Matt. Sadly, he's never been on the show before, but we would love to have him on.
We will rectify that.
Yes. So he is sending us 2 questions. He said we pick our preferred, but we prefer to answer both questions, Matt.
Yeah.
All right. So, first question. Looking back on your life, what are your favorite memories from each decade you've circled the sun?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. Okay.
All right. I'm going to answer this question video game related. So, from 0 to 10, I think my favorite memory might be when me and my brother were playing Super Mario Bros. 3, and every time I passed him on the world map, he would hit the button to bring us to a battle screen, and he would kill me and take my turn, and it was really pissing me off, and I was screaming about it, and my mom said, if you two don't stop, I'm going to come in there and rip the system out of the wall, and we kept on going, and he kept on doing it, and sure enough, my mother came into the room, put her left and right hands on each side of the NES, and physically ripped it out of the wall, much to me and my brother screaming at the top of our lungs, and that NES was put in the garage for like 10 years until I found it again.
Every time I hear that story, it both amazes and terrifies me.
Okay, so from 10 to 20, that would be 97, 2007. That's got to be the Wii camp out. Camping out with buds for the Wii. That was in 2006, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Camping out at a Walmart. Just, staying up all night in line and cold like a bunch of idiots. A bunch of strangers coming up to us and giving us food like we were animals. we were roped off on a weird section where people just were kind of like, what's going on? And we stayed up all night, got the Wii, very groggily and tiredly played Wii Sports, and then Red Steel.
Yeah, Red Steel, where you guys were staring up at the sky.
Yeah. And then I had to drive home after not sleeping all night and almost fell asleep driving. But I got home safe with the Wii, and yeah, that was a really great time. All right, and then 20s to 30s, 2007 to 2017.
We'll throw in the past couple years too. We'll just lump those in with that decade.
I used to work blocks away from Nintendo New York store in the city, and that was pretty awesome. Just that year or two that I worked at this company, whenever I wanted to go pick up a game or buy any kind of Nintendo merchandise, I could just walk over there on my lunch break and I used to go there sometimes just to check it out and see what was new. They have like a little bit of a museum display upstairs, which is really cool. And then when Iwata passed away, I remember there was an event that night where you could go there and basically sign a book and just leave a message for him, and the books were going to go to his family. And I remember seeing that place absolutely filled with people of all ages, just like lining up to write books, and the notebooks stacked on top of each other, just filled with just good wishes for Iwata and his family, and like that was really cool to be able to do that and be like right there at like such a a worldwide event kind of thing that was happening like right there. Yeah, I definitely miss living that close to Nintendo World New York.
Yeah, that was really cool, and I would go up to visit you and be like, "Hey, let's check out Nintendo World," and we would go. And in fact, I'm currently wearing a hoodie that we got from Nintendo World. It's my Zelda hoodie. It's one of my favorite pieces of clothing that I actually own. I wear this thing constantly. So,
Yeah, I want to go back. There's a big Bowser statue now. He's like bursting through the wall. I want to check it out.
yeah, we got to make a ride at some point. All right, so I'm going to steal your idea on keeping it video game related because that was a good idea. Keep it focused. So from 0 to 10, my favorite memories were just, really just mess around on the NES with my own brother. We would play. We would actually kind of do semi-multiplayer Mario and Zelda. Like Mario, we would naturally hop back and forth between Mario and Luigi. Nothing ever got as tense as it did between you and your brother while playing, so nothing like that ever happened with us. But we would also do the same thing with the original Legend of Zelda. Now, I mean, we were little kids playing this game, and that is a notoriously difficult game, even for older people. What we would do is we would kind of hop back and forth, like, okay, we would adventure for a little bit, we'd fight some enemies, we'd die, and then, okay, then we'd hand the controller to the other one and say, okay, now you try. So then we would adventure along and do our thing, and we'd go back and forth that way. And it wasn't until literally, like, probably decades later that I realized, oh, there's more to the map than just these couple of screens. Because we would literally adventure our way to the first dungeon. We would go in, we would beat it, and we were like, okay, we're done. We beat it.
We beat the game.
we beat the game. It's over. With the dragon boss at the end of the first dungeon was the final boss. We're like, all right, we did it. Yeah, good job. Because it was so difficult for us to just even get to that part, and then get through, the dungeon itself. We were just like, yeah, you know what? We're good. This is good. This is a major accomplishment.
All right, cool. That's a good start.
Let's see. So the next decade, tens and 20s. So that was like 97 to 07. That was the decade where I grew as like a video gamer. That's when I met you and everyone else. That's when the notorious, you sat me down in front of Super Mario RPG and was like, you were like, just play this and see what you have to think about that. And it was like a chakra opening up in my mind. I was like, oh my god, this is incredible. Like I
remember that very vividly.
I was like, I didn't realize video games could be like this. Like it was mind blowing. I was like, oh my god, what have I been missing all this time? And it was just it was incredible. That was the decade of my life where I first got like my own system for the first time. Like I bought a GameCube. Like I bought a GameCube.
Yeah.
I got games for it, and like I got Wind Waker. That was where I started to experience the whole like breadth of games that were available to me. That was really a turning point in my life. Was then, and then from 20s to 30s. So 08 to today. I mean, I realize this might be like recency bias, so forgive me, but I like just when I first went into Breath of the Wild, and played that game for the first time, just seeing the world open up before me, it was so different from anything I had played before, especially in a Zelda game, that it was just incredible. I was just completely blown away by all the things I could do, everything I could experience. It was amazing.
I hadn't been hyped for a game like I was for Breath of the Wild, probably in a decade by that point. Like, I remember when the Wii U was coming out, like, I thought it was cool, but like I really wasn't super pumped. I didn't even really want it out of the gate. Like, that has to do with a lot of factors. Like, it really wasn't launching with anything good and all this stuff. But I felt like my video game and Nintendo love was kind of fading at that point. But like everything with Breath of the Wild and the Switch and everything just brought it all rolling back, and it was just comforting to know that like no, that love and desire is not going anywhere for a while.
Yeah, it just really like it again, like almost similar to like Mario RPG when I played it for the first time. It was like, wow, like games can do this. Like they can go places that you didn't think they could before, and it's just really just impressive, the level of creativity involved.
All right, that was a great answer to that first question.
Thank you. So likewise for you. Now, Matt, as mentioned, he asked us 2 questions. So Matt's second question: how do you feel about people playing video games muted? Please explain and discuss. FYI, I play most of the time muted while listening to music or podcasts on my headphones. Okay, so that is an interesting question.
Yeah.
For me, I've got no issues with people playing games, like if they're muted or if they don't have sound going on. A lot of times, the sound design or the music of the game can certainly add to the experience, but a lot of people could find it distracting, or if they prefer to listen to others. I mean, like we've talked about it before, it's your experience with the game. You can take in the game however you want.
Yeah, I have no problem with that either. I think it depends on the type of game, and I think when people do that, it's like they're doing a part of the game. They've played a lot of it already. They've experienced a lot of the audio. Maybe they're in like a certain town or village or area that like they already know like what the background music is, or they've been there for a while. So, or maybe they're just doing like mindless stuff like side quest, or that makes sense to me. But like, if I don't know if anybody does this, but if you play a game like start to finish, like without listening to any of the game audio, like that will be weird. Like if you're doing other stuff in place of the actual game audio and you've never even like heard it before, I think that's weird. But like, if you give it enough of a chance, or like the type of game, like Splatoon was a game that I actually played. A lot of it, I would turn off the sound or have it low, and then just play like my music on my computer or something while I'm playing Splatoon, because that's like mindless and stuff. And I like Splatoon music, but too much of that like can get really annoying. So yeah, it's different for everybody.
Yeah, see, I didn't mind like the funky beats or any of the songs that like they were singing in Splatoon. Maybe you just didn't get it. Maybe it was just too far above you, Justin.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
So, yeah, I mean, like, and, there's certainly, like, people with, if you have issues with hearing or anything like that, you want to have the experience, maybe, like, you experience video games in a different way. So, I mean, there's naturally, options that should be available to gamers like that. That's part of accessibility in games in general. So
yeah, I haven't tried listening to a podcast while playing a game. I don't think I could do that. I don't know if my brain can like read text but also listen to people talking at the same time. But yeah, again, like if you're doing mindless stuff, like, or if you're playing like an RPG and you're just grinding, like, yeah, sure, that makes a lot of sense, because you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, see, me, it's interesting. I can't, like, if I'm focused on something, I can't listen to something else while I'm doing that, especially if it requires a lot of brain power. Like, I know a lot of people will listen to music or maybe even listen to podcasts while they're studying or if they're doing desk work. I can't do that. Like, it's one is too distracting for me to focus on the other. So like I can either try to listen to the music and the podcasts and ignore my work or the studying, or I focus on the studying and my work, at which point I literally I have to take the headphones out because it's too distracting.
Studying or whatever, that kind of stuff, I can listen to music, but it has to be like instrumental. No, like the lyrics, like someone talking is what I think would distract my brain. So I listen to like Chilled Cow and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So good. Lo-fi hip-hop beats of the girl studying for an exam for...
Oh, yeah. That one's a
Forever.
classic. Yeah. You're studying with the Splatoon soundtrack going on.
I would fail that test.
All
right. Let's move on here.
All right, moving on. Thank you, Matt, for those two wonderful questions.
Yes.
All right, so next up is Nick. Nick has been on the show before a few times. He's written all of the lovely music that you hear on the program. So thank you, Nick. All right, from Nick. To the leaders of Press A repeatedly, Justin and Chris, which is upon a podcast, to those who have been sanctified in Psyduck, hosts by calling, with all whom in every place call on the name of Scorebunny, their starter and ours, grace to you and peace from Psyduck, our father, and the starter of starters, Scorebunny. Hello. I have been struggling with this question throughout the last several years, and more recently, even more strongly. I need to know, once and for all, what is the right moral way? Is it right to buy Switch games in physical form and have them in a library, or is it better to download said games onto an SD card and not have to worry about keeping them in your house or switching out cartridges every time you want to play something else? There can be no half measures in this answer. My soul cannot take it. I appeal to your ultimate wisdom and guidance. The grace of Scorebunny be with you. My love be with you all. In Psyduck, Nicholas. All right, first of all, hashtag Grookey Gang forever.
No way. Sabo.
Nah, man. Grookey. Listen, as long as we can agree to disagree on the starters, I think we're doing great. But back to the question at hand. So, Nick's question is it right to buy Switch games in physical form and have them in a library, or is it better to download said games onto an SD card and not have to worry about keeping them in your house or switching out cartridges every time you want to play something else? Like anything else, that comes really down to personal preference. I get the argument that you want to have physical games and store them in a library, not just because of, say, oh, you can display all of your games and say, look at my collection of games. It's also there are also questions of ownership and who owns what. In regards of a question like that, like you have a physical copy of a game, it's yours. Like no one can really take that away from you. On the same token, you lose that sense of ownership with a downloadable game, what is just software only. But you also have significantly easier access to those games. And there's also environmental concerns with that regard, because now you don't have to manufacture these extra cartridges. You don't have to stick them in this extra packaging, especially when you consider a Switch package. Like, you open it up. I mean, it's a giant piece of plastic that it has a teeny tiny little area where that actually holds the cartridge. Like, you don't really need that giant cartridge, that giant package for all that. So there's definitely concerns there. Me personally, I prefer the downloadable games just because I like that ease of access. I like being able to switch back and forth between the different games pretty easily. But that's my preference.
This question is like one of the most long going on debated questions in the video game community. It's like in baseball, like, is it better to have a designated hitter or the starting pitcher pitches? Like, which one do you prefer?
Right, and we all know the answer to that question.
Yeah, National League rules all the way. But I'm gonna give Nick a direct answer here. The correct answer is to download them. I think that's the wave of the future. Is where everything is going. It's easier for you, as you said, Chris, to switch games on the fly, which works so great with the Switch with this very snappy interface. You're cleaning up on having just excess stuff among your house by not piling up the games, and there's really not much to offer anymore. The physical games don't come with manuals anymore. Like you said, it's just a plastic thing with the game in it, and that sucks. Like, I miss the manuals. I really wish they would come back and be a thing, but I understand, like, manufacturing costs, and they're not really needed anymore because you can access all that stuff from in-game. So that is the correct answer. However, I am still a physical game getter for the most part. For reasons that don't really make a lot of sense, I will admit, but I think a lot of it is nostalgia factor. I just remember, like, the days of when a game would come out, going to the store, getting it, bringing it home. It was just like what you did, It was like that fun trip to get there, get the game, and then come back. Like, so I think I just kind of want to relive that a little bit. But it sucks because a lot of that factor was, like, on the car ride home, you would read the manual about the game while your parents were driving you home. Now, not only am I driving, and it would be a very bad idea to be reading while driving, there is no manual left in the cart, so you have just the game and the sleeve. It is cool, though. What I like to do is, on the inside of the sleeve is alternate artwork, so for my games, I just kind of flip that around and do a reverse cover. Mm-hmm. Some of the artwork is built to actually be a reverse cover. Some of it is just like a wide framed graphic that looks cooler, I think. So most of my game cartridges are flipped, just to make it look a little bit different. But yeah, there really is no good reason for me to do that, and it is kind of a pain in the butt to switch out the cartridges. But yeah, it's just a personal preference thing. I think eventually I will go full digital. There is the added buy of having to buy more storage space, so you can do that. But, the convenience of having everything there. And then the way cloud-based streaming stuff is going, if you can transfer your stuff to different systems easier, that makes sense. The only thing that will be gone, what I like with physical, is if I bought Luigi's Mansion and you want to play Luigi's Mansion, I can lend you Luigi's Mansion with a physical copy.
That's
whereas digital, I can't do that, which is, I'm sure, what obviously companies would like to get rid of that, so you have to buy another copy. But,
right. There are some companies will offer some perks if you buy physical. Unfortunately, they're part of, like, deluxe editions or collector's editions, where you'll get, like, statues, or you'll get art books, or whatever else they decide to offer. The coins that no one knows what to do with, that they include. But for a lot of people, maybe they collect that sort of stuff, and they think, oh, that's really cool, that's worth it to me. But it sucks that you have to, like, pay extra for that stuff just to own the game via physical media. And that's an excellent point, Justin, with regards to losing the manuals and everything else, because a lot of times those manuals, like, nowadays you get the art book and you can see, like, how the game developed the art style over the life of the game development. But even in the manuals of old, you could see a lot of, like, really cool art sprinkled along in the manual itself. Like, talking about Mario and Zelda, seeing the classic art of Mario throwing the fireball, or jumping, or he's grabbing, like, the turnip from Super Mario Brothers 2. Like, just a lot of really, really great artwork that you don't really see as much nowadays. So it is a shame, but I think you're right. Naturally, we both came to the same conclusion. Downloadable games is probably the way to go. Streaming games is an entirely different matter altogether. I don't see that happening soon. Google Stadia just launched, quote unquote, and by all accounts, it's been a wretched, wretched launch that nobody is enjoying. So it's probably going to be several years at least before that's even a viable option. So, yeah, I think downloading games is the way to go.
All right. Good stuff.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Nick, for that great question. All right. Next up is Louis Tomasello, your cousin, Justin, and frequent emailer of the show. We can always count on Louis to send us in a lot of really great emails that we've read before. So thank you.
He's always got some great stuff brewing in that dome of his.
Yes, he does. All right, so this one from Louis. Hey, PIR boys. I had a customer at work pose an interesting question to me the other day that I thought would be good to ask the both of you. If you could take one aspect of a video game from any genre and make it reality, what would it be? For example, the customer said he would love it if he could respawn to places he has been before to save time. I chose the ability to collect and ride exotic mounts from games like World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV. What would you guys want to have made real?
I love the idea of Louis coming to work on like a giant robot ostrich.
It's just like, oh, hey guys, hey, how you doing? And someone else like parked their giant like lizard or whatever.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've thought about this question before, and for me the answer is double jump. Double jump, double jump, double jump. I would love to be able to double jump just literally anywhere. Like, because I'm a short man. I would love to be able to reach high places. So, like, I jump up, and, I still can't reach it. Well, guess what? I'll just jump again, and now I can reach it easily. Like, just, like, I could reach high shelves. I could play basketball. I could do all the things that...
Double jump to a shelf.
Yeah, don't laugh. You tall son of a bitch. You don't understand. You don't get the struggle.
These are problems I don't ever have to deal with.
You don't have to deal with these issues. So yes, I would absolutely double jump just so I would be able to experience the world that you experience on a daily basis.
That's a great pick. I think that's better than mine, but mine was going to be like a real life skill tree that I could access at any time.
Oh,
that has
shit.
Different things that I can get to eventually, and I don't know what I could do in life to generate experience. Maybe just survive. Like every year, you get 100 XP or something.
Yeah, sure.
But to be able to pick like a nice perk, like I'm stronger now, or I'm faster, or I can shoot lasers out of my eyes. Like that would be pretty sweet.
Oh, what'd be great is if you could, like, unlearn some abilities. Like, what if you're like, oh, lasers for eyes, and you choose it, and you're like, oh, you know what, this really wasn't as great as I thought it'd be, so you can unlearn it, you get those points back, and then you can allocate those points to a different skill.
Yeah, that would be actually really cool. Yeah, there's so much you could do here. The fast travel one's really good, too. I think everybody would like to do that.
Can you imagine, I gotta go to work. Well, I'm just gonna
loading screen,
and then you're at work. Oh man, that would be amazing. Because then you've cut your I've cut my commute down from like an hour almost an hour and a half to literally the blink of an eye.
Yeah,
that would revolutionize the world. Oh
yeah,
man,
that's a good one.
That is a fantastic pick.
That's probably the obvious answer for everybody.
Yeah, fast travel is great. What else?
Eating food to restore health, that'd be cool. Like you're not feeling great, so you just eat lunch and then you're good.
Yes, that would be amazing. Like, oh no, like I've been shot, and you just start eating a bunch of apples, and you're like, oh, all right, okay, I'm slowly and surely getting there.
Oh, that's a fun one.
Yeah, I really like that idea. Magic, just being able to do magic in general,
of course,
would be fantastic. Yeah.
There's really so much you can
Just
Having a weapon loadout that could cause trouble.
that causes a lot of trouble, but that's
Yeah.
okay because then you can just respawn at the last place you saved.
That is true.
Maybe like the last time you went to the bathroom. Maybe that's how you save.
Yeah,
No, but for me, I'd want to double jump.
double jump is pretty.
I would
cool.
I would love to be able to double jump.
The first time I saw you double jump, I would shit my pants.
Because it's like we play video games and we take a double jump for granted. But it's literally physically impossible. Like, just imagine you jump in the air and then you're in midair and then you just jump again. Like, and
Now, do you flip on second jump?
Of
or is it
course,
just-
of course, you flip on a second jump. You can't just
Sorry, that was dumb.
You can't just jump and then do like, and then just jump again like a doofus. No, you got to put a little flair into it. Yeah, no, I would double jump 100 times out of 100.
Awesome.
All right, so that was fun. That's a great one to just think about in general. Like, what would we do? All right, so our last question comes in from the glorious, the wonderful, the handsome, the Zool.
Zuli boy.
Zuli boy. All right. Zool says, "Sup, boys? How's life after turning 100? Hope everything is still functional." Most things
More or
are.
less.
More or less. All right. So, I had a quick cue about your thoughts on the Nintendo theme park opening in Japan in the near future. I'm not asking whether or not you would make the pilgrimage all the way to Japan to see it, but if one hypothetically opened in the US, in Florida, California, or maybe in Pennsylvania or in New York, would you be interested in going at all? How far would you be willing to travel, and how much is too much for admission and gift shops? Or is celebrating video games in public at a theme park something you're just not interested in? I would assume similar to the recently owned Star Wars theme park, there would be a healthy mix of older diehard fans as well as kids. I personally don't really care for theme parks, but Chris, I think you're a Disney guy, ? And Justin hates children, so I think being surrounded by thousands of them might throw him into a murderous rage. Just wondering. Keep up the good work, fellas. Love, old Zuli boy.
I think if that was in the States, anywhere in the States, I think we would have to make a pilgrimage there just to check it out.
We would have to go. All of us would have
Group
to go.
trip, yeah.
Group trip. I don't know road trip. That depends on where it is. If it's in California, I don't want to drive all the way out there.
No, yeah.
But
We would have to. It would be expensive, and we have to plan for it and
Yes.
everything. But like, we would have.
we would
to
have to go at least once. Just
Yeah.
once. If it was local, if like you said, we're in the southern Jersey area, so if it was Pennsylvania or New York, that would be
Yeah.
more feasible for us to go to more frequently. But Florida, California, like a Disney park, that's something we would have to kind of
Yeah.
pump the brakes on. But yes, 100% I would go to that. How much would it cost? I mean, it's a theme park. It's a popular brand, so we'd have to. I mean, we got to consider like Disney and the Hershey Park as kind of comparable. So it would be expensive. It would be taking a big old bite out of our wallets' asses. Definitely.
I think it would be significantly more than Six Flags or something like that, but significantly less than Disney, which is absurdly priced right now. So it would be a chunk, but not like completely unreasonable.
Yeah. As now for me, like I'm always content to like go to the theme park whenever I go, and I'm like, okay, I'm here. Time to ride whatever rides or do whatever else. Because ordinarily, when you get to one of those theme parks, you can just be like, ooh, I want to go on that ride. So it's like, okay, well, there you go. Just go on the ride. You don't have to like pay to go on a ride. Like you don't have to do anything extra.
Yeah.
Food. I mean, you have to
Merchandise.
yeah, you have to kind of like food. You have to eat something when you're there. Like you can't just go in, especially like if you're excited and you're running around. You're going to work up an appetite. You're going to build a thirst. So you're gonna have to buy like the $6 water bottles or whatever else they friggin' charge you out the ass for. The prices there are ridiculous. And B, as far as merchandise, I just simply don't get the merchandise. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? I could get something. I could buy this like elsewhere. Like, I don't.
Anywhere online, cheaper. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just skip the merch.
What would be the food court there? Like Cooking Mama's food court or something like that?
There'd be a Cooking Mama's food court. I'm sure there'd be
Kirby in a chef hat.
Kirby in a chef hat. You'd have probably like Mario's Burgers or something like that. You'd have like a lot of different options. Yoshi's Cookies, where
Yeah.
it would be like a dessert shop. They'd have like a Princess Peach's cake like under glass that people
Oh,
could look
yeah.
at. What rides would you go on at a Nintendo theme park? Like, what rides would they have in general?
I don't know if they are doing this in the Japan one, and I hope they are, but like a Luigi's Mansion walk through haunted house would be awesome. Like, that just makes so much sense.
That would
And
be
you've
really
done
cool.
like the Tower of Terror or whatever it is in Disney, right? When
Yeah.
you like kind of you see the holograms and all that stuff. Like a Luigi's Mansion one would make so much sense. That'd be awesome.
I think they should have a roller coaster that's like, Mario World or whatever, and it's like on a track. You know how there's some of those like fast tracks that like go through the Mario levels, and it's on a track, and then like the track ends at a certain point, and you go flying off the track, and you land on another track. And it just like boosts you through each of these like segments of track as you're going along, so you get the experience of what Mario would feel like as he's traversing these levels himself.
So I was thinking the same idea, but I think that should be a Donkey Kong minecart track, like
Oh,
in Donkey Kong Country.
Yes.
And then the Mario ride would be like a Princess Peach's slide, like a really big, long slide that's kind of curvy and twisty and stuff. But yeah, like a minecart Donkey Kong thing I think would be really cool.
That would be really friggin' badass. And it does like that thing where it kind of like leans to the side a little bit just to like avoid, dangerous areas, quote unquote.
And you have to figure out how to jump with the minecart or else you fall down a pit.
There's just like there's just a giant like cliff at the end, and it's like, all right, now remember, kids, and like at the beginning they're telling you to jump, you gotta grab the sides, lean back, and just kind of like hoist it in the air as you're as you're going. And like, what? Good luck. She pulls the lever, and the kid just goes flying out. It's like,
Oh, man.
those. I could tell those ones ain't gonna make it either.
Yeah.
Eventually, those mine carts, like the mine carts and the children, they're just gonna pile up in that pit to the point where people can
Where you
just
can just
ride
roll
it. You
over
just roll over them. So you know what? It works out. It works out at the end.
Just corpses and old minecarts.
They don't even bother clearing them out. Jesus. Yeah, just
my
gotta
God.
roll over them, man. What are they gonna do? Go down into that dangerous
Alright.
pit? The only way you could get there is by riding the cart.
Yeah, of course. People try to clean it up, but they just die in the process.
Yeah, they just become part of the pit.
Oh man.
But yes, I would go. I
Yeah.
would not ride the Donkey Kong mine cart,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons.
It could be like, Link's bow and arrow station or something. I could
Oh,
see
yeah,
like a Morph Ball Samus ride or something. Or like just like those ones like like you're in like a little cart thing, but it's also like a laser gun ride and you gotta like kill all the enemies. Like that would make sense for Samus.
Mm-hmm. There's like a little Animal Crossing village where people can go and just relax and
Yeah.
take a load off.
I
Yeah,
would like to see guys in big dumb like mascot costumes, like big old Donkey Kong lumbering across the street.
yeah,
that'd be great.
that'd be awesome. Like I'd see Yoshi.
Like he sees through the mouth of Donkey Kong.
Yep. Yep, and it's just like, Donkey Kong, hey, can I get your autograph? And he's like, he like signs your autograph book. He just puts a big X over both pages. It's like,
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
It's like, wow, thanks, buddy. You couldn't just put a D and a K, like you had to be that. And the guy's just like, look, asshole, this is how they train me. You know, like
you know how hot it is in this thing.
I should have been ending my shift 45 minutes ago. All right, you get what you fucking get. Like, all right,
Oh, man.
fair enough.
Oh, you know how like there's real life like princesses in Disney World? Like, would there be like real life Princess Peach and real life Daisy and Rosalina and stuff? That would weird me out.
You sound weirdly excited by this by this thought. You're like, what? Ooh, do you think there'd be a real Princess Peach there? It'd be like one of those things, like when we had breakfast with the characters when we went down to Disney, and there was Alice in Wonderland, and this Alice, she was smoking hot, man. She was hot as hell. And I remember we got in line, and I got in line, and we were going to do a meet and greet, and it got right up to me, and they were like, all right, she's got to go. Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. And she left immediately, and I was like, damn.
Your one chance to get with Alice.
My one chance to get with Alice, and it was all gone. Maybe it would be the same thing with you. Maybe they could have like a meet and greet, and they'd be like, oh, hey, there's Justin. And all the princesses swarm to you, and they're like, oh, Justin, you're so handsome.
And they're like, sir, we told you 7 times to keep your hands to yourself. Come with us.
Yep. And you are led to the princess's chambers.
Where Donkey Kong in a gimp mask just whipping the shit out of it.
All right, this is getting weird. So, thank you, Zool, for that wonderful question. And that's it, Justin. We've hit the bottom of the mailbag.
All right, that was awesome. That was a great idea. Great questions, everybody. Thanks for sending them in. And yeah, I really had a lot of fun with this. I feel like we should do this more regularly.
Yeah, I think so too. That was a lot of fun. Everybody, keep sending questions to us. Questions, comments, parpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, and with that, that's going to be it for this week. Remember, Presley repeatedly posts new episodes Tuesdays on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Podbean, YouTube, and Spotify. If you like what you hear, please take a moment to rate and review the show, or tell your friends about us. It helps other people find the podcast and will really help us grow. And thank you to all who have rated, reviewed, and subscribed so far. We love you.
You can follow us on our Facebook page or on Twitter and Instagram. We are at PAR_podcast. I'm at cgold113, and Justin is at oaf7724. You can email us any questions or comments at parpodcast@gmail.com. That's parpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget to check us out on our website, pressarepeatedly.com. And that's all for this week. Chris and Justin signing off. And remember to throw a defenseless stormtrooper screaming to his death through the power of the Force. Press A repeatedly. It was getting really hot. That was getting kind of hot at the end.